My name is Martijn Wijtens. I am the agricultural counselor at the Embassy of the Netherlands in Paris. So I work at the embassy for all agricultural subjects. We have our webinar today from 3 to 5 in English. The webinar will be recorded. I hope that's no problem for you. In case you find it a problem, you can, of course, put out your camera so you cannot be seen. But we find it important that the messages that we will hear today are available to people. So it will be recorded. I would like to ask everybody that is not speaking to mute its camera. Although I recognize that it's very nice to hear the birds on the background, which is really giving a good mood, but still, if we all do that, it will not work. So please mute your speaker. We will have a program this afternoon with 4 different speakers, and we will have questions in between. The idea is that you ask your questions on the chat. So you have the chat function and you can put your questions on the chat. It's my pleasure now to give the word to Michael Wilde from BioNext for some opening words. He has been the director of BioNext since 2019. And before he worked for many years, 12 years, as manager of sustainability and communication at the well-known firm of Eosta. Michael, can I give you the floor?
Thank you, Martijn. Bonjour, je commence en français. Bon après-midi à tous. Je suis Michael Wilde et je suis le directeur de BioNext, organisation nationale ici en Hollande qui s'occupe avec l'agriculture et nourriture biologique. Je suis honoré et ravi de lancer ce webinaire et de vous souhaiter à la bienvenue à ce que pense être 2 heures fantastiques, fascinantes. Je tiens particulièrement à remercier à nos invités de France pour avoir partagé leur temps et leur point de vue sur la façon dont le marché biologique français s'est développé si fortement au cours des dernières années. Et je vais maintenant revenir en anglais à ce que pour tout le monde peut comprendre. Good afternoon, everyone. As director of BioNext here, I'm standing outside in a beautiful organic field in Holland. And I want to thank you for the invitation. I particularly want to thank our French speakers today for sharing their knowledge and their passion for organic agriculture and to show us the way forward here in Holland. In the Netherlands, we have a very strong trading history, and in the process, we like to tell other people what to do and how to do it. But today is very different. I think it is wise for us here in Holland to take a humble position, a little bit in the background, and to particularly listen to the experts. Obviously, in Holland, we have a lot to offer with beautiful organic products, which we love to sell to France. But today we want to learn from our French friends, and hopefully it will help us develop the market further here in Holland and also the production. So I'm really delighted to give the floor to Laure. Merci beaucoup, Laure. C'est fantastique. Et à tout à l'heure. Okay, thank you.
Oh my God. Such an introduction. It's impossible to take a nap in front of such a video with such an introduction. So hello, everyone. My name is Laure Verdeau. I am the director of the French agency promoting the agriculture biologique, Agence Bio. And I was given, I think, 20 minutes to give you all the panoramic story and the missions of our agency. So we are an agency created 20 years ago. We will be celebrating our birthday in October. And we were created by 2 ministers. One is the agriculture minister, and the other one was the ecology minister. And we are more or less 20% working on the organic market at Montreuil, near Paris. And so that you can have the general perspective on our missions, we, from the beginning, are focused on 2 missions, promoting in the same time, so that it will be the 2 legs of the development in France of organic sector. We work on consumption, but also on production. what we call amont aval, which means we work on all the value chain. But we have the official agency. Agricultors have to register when they convert themselves to the organic practice. And we also provide data on the consumption. So for the very beginning, the founders that were part of a socialist government had in mind that the agency should be promoting the organic sector, because it was 1% of the market at this time, and they had in mind that we should be a product that was bound to be strong in agriculture and in consumption. So they decided to give the French Agence Bio the mission of communicating, informing the public on the virtue of the organic agriculture. So the first mission is to provide tools for consumer, but not only consumer, also citizens, professionals, everyone in the ecosystem, with tools, with data, with information on what is about organic. So this is the first mission, but communicating without providing solid data and information is nothing. It's not just about saying bio is good. It's also about analyzing what is at stake, who are the main players in the field, who is consuming organic products, what are the breaks. And this is the focus on data. So we are collecting data on more than 50 sources that goes from the regional departments of the agriculture minister, from all the players. For instance, we have in the Visio we have Alon, we have Clémence, we have people that provide us with data. So we are compiling all this data. We have in real time the number of agricultures that are converting to organic practice, because they have to tell us where they are in the process of converting. And we also recompile with all the what we call OC, organismes certificateurs. So they are the 20 Bureau Veritas, EcoCert, that are certifying organic players in France. There are 20, so they provide us with all the data at the end of April, and then we are compiling, analyzing, fact-checking, and we provide the market with all this data. So this is the second mission. So we had communication. Communication is based on data. And the third mission, it was added at the job of the agency in 2008. It's the management of a fund, of a financing fund. It's the Fonds Avenir Bio. What is Fonds Avenir Bio? It's an envelope that started at the beginning. It was a very small envelope. Now it's 30 million of euro. And our job, we have 4 people dedicated to analyzing all the candidates to this financing tool. Our job is to bet on the most promising products, on the most promising entrepreneurs that will build collective project with high impact on the French market. But basically, for instance, we had consumers craze on the, I don't know, goat cheese yogurt or French organic potatoes, and when we had this growth of consumption, we not always had the answer to this demand. So what was the objective of this fund? It was to help building filière, which means real value chain, that are providing the market and the consumers with a French answer. It was we are really the made in France the Organic Made in France Fund. So from the beginning, 150 products have been supported by us, and for a global amount of around 63 millions of euros. But this is only the emerging part of the iceberg, because we give money to these products, but we are only triggering other funds. For instance, when we decided to help, we had, for instance, a flour factory. They asked us, for instance, on average of 500,000 euros. We say, okay, but that will every euro we are putting in this project will trigger other financing funds. It can be public funds. For instance, the water agency, they are really promoting organic agriculture and organic projects because it's less polluting, and so it keeps their depolluting costs at bay. So when we support an entrepreneur, he can ask for money to the water agency. He can ask for money to the region, to the equivalent of the government authority and financing at the regional scale. We can ask also for private equity funds or specialized bank or generalist bank, because we are federating a bunch of 50 financing entities at what we call the Club des Financeurs. So this is the third mission. Giving money to the most promising and the most sustainable project that will provide the French consumer with a made in France food product in the organic sector. So this is the three main missions, with the Regalian mission of the Agence Bio. And it's what can be seen behind these three missions. It's also being the instance where people that have different visions on agriculture can have a fructuous dialogue. What do I mean? We have in France some historical, purist, really committed actors, players in the organic field. Those who created the organic sector 30, 40 years ago. So they have a really particular point of view. And we have those who came lately to the organic market. Maybe they are less convinced, they don't have the faith of the first one, but they are more on an opportunistic point of view. They think that organic is not only a philosophy, it's also a business. And so these two categories are really different in their approach of the organic sector and what it should be and its global philosophy. And sometimes it can be a little bit conflictuous. So we are where they have a discussion. We are the agency that is trying to create a consensus when we have sometimes really violent debates over what should be organic and what should not be organic. For instance, les serres chauffées, maybe the heated serre.
The glass houses.
Yes, glass houses. The heated glass houses has been the huge showdown between these two parties of the organic sector, and this is the agency that was the agency had a key role in just making people talk with each other. At the end, it was our French minister that decided that yes, heated glass houses were organic compliant, but huge debate has been dividing the organic sector. So we are we are building every day a dialogue and consensus among those who are purists of the organic sector and those who are conventional, lambda, standard agriculture. And our conviction is that standard agriculture will be organic agriculture of tomorrow. So this is why we cannot have two separated worlds. We have to talk to each other so that we can build the organic sector of tomorrow. So that's what we are doing on the day-to-day basis. Building a strong consumption market by playing on both legs, production and consumption. Regarding the typical year of the agency, the rhythm of the typical year promoting organic sector. So last year was not representative, but we hope that we will find again this rhythm. It starts around February with the International Agriculture Fair, le Salon International de l'Agriculture, and where the agency has its presence. The objective is to really be the physical incarnation of the 12% of agricultors that are already in organic sector, because we are the 12%. That's what you have it bear in mind. And this is where several ministers come and have a chat with the agency and cast a light on the organic sector and how many jobs it represents and how many agricultors and also the contribution to the country wealth. Then we have several fairs that are in for agricultures. So there is Tech and Bio in September that is targeting conventional agricultures that are contemplating the idea of converting themselves to organic sector. And this is where we participate because we think that it's a strong lever to recruit new agricultors. We have the two fairs about the French school restaurants, because in France we have this something really special. We have a quota of 20% of organic products that must be in the plate of the collective restaurants. So this is a market that is not addressed because it represents 1.4 billion of euro. But at the moment we are talking, it's only served at 400,000 euros. So we are not providing this market. So there is room for growth for producer, because every canteen in France should be provided with organic food at least at 20% of the value of what they're buying. So we have two fairs that are giving tools and ideas and also that are trying to stimulate the French region, departments, all those that are managing the French collective restaurants, and to give them the tools of appropriation, of self-appropriation of the law. The law is quite complicated. That says put 20% of organic food in the plates, and so we provide them with tools. We provide them with tips so that they can buy organic food and keep their food costs at bay, because at the end of the day, it's the price that is the main break regarding the consumption of organic products. So this is regarding the highlights of the year, but we also have our own events at the agency, and usually it's in March. We have a huge press conference, and we focus on the consumption. This is where we say French consumers, they are buying more and more organic food, where they are buying, how they are buying, what is the break. And spoiler, price is always the break, because we have more than one French over two that don't understand why organic products are more expensive. So this will be the priority of the agency. It will be explaining what is behind the price of organic food, why it may be more expensive, and how you can keep your food budget at bay while eating organic food. So this is the French conference in March about consumption, the trends about the French market. We ask more than 2,000 French about what they're feeling and how their perception of the organic food. And we have the other highlight of the year. It's in July. So this is where we publish the figures of production. How many agricultures converted, how many, what are the surface dedicated to organic production, and also the markets. This is where we say the market is that many billions and how it evolved. And the next one will be on the 9th of July. So this is about our governance, our main highlights. I would like to say a word about our governance, because it's highly revealing on how we work and how we manage to elaborate what is a strategic plan over 5 years, what we call the Plan Ambition Bio. At the agency, we have a board that is composed of representatives of the ministers, our 2 ministers, as I said, ecology and agriculture. But we also have the representation of 4 professional families. Among them, you have 2 that are 100% organic. It's the Federation, the National Federation of Organic Agriculture. And you have their counterparts on transformation on the food industry, that is the Sinabio. Those 2 entities, they are 100% organic. And you have 2 other families that are representing also food production, agriculture production, that are the agricultural chambers and the French cooperatives. And these 2 entities, they are generalists. What we say generalists, they have organic people in their adherents, but also have people that are not organic at all, and that may be the tomorrow's organic producers. And this is why we are all around the same table. Our job, our mission is really to have a common stand so that we can provide the ministers with our position, with common positions. We recently had a polemic about the European agricultural policy. And we have a neutral stand. We cannot be on one part or another. We don't have to take part, actually, because we are supposed to be the voice in the middle that is a consensus among every player in the field. So where is organic sector in France? The consumers already avail themselves of being organic consumer. We have more than 9 over 10 French that are eating organic food at least once in a while. You have 1/3 of the French that are eating at least once per week, and you have 13% of French that are eating organic every day. So basically, it's tomorrow will be more organic. We know that for sure. And organic food is already in the cupboard, in the fridge of French people. So it's okay on that side. We have a very steady rate of non-organic consumer. It's 10%, and it doesn't evolve. It's always the 10% that don't want organic food. So, okay, we let them in peace. That's not our job to address them. And we don't talk also to those who eat every day that are really convinced because they don't need us. We are dealing with the 80% that doesn't know, is occasionally eating organic food, and our job is to make them more often more organic food. So this is for the at-home consumption. Regarding collective restauration, les cantines, French school restaurant, etc., we have this wonderful quota, so we just have to keep up with the growth rate so that we can provide this market of 1 billion. But the next frontier regarding organic food will be French cook and French restaurants, because we don't have any training in cook school about organic food. And it's not the same to cut an organic chicken and an industrial chicken. You don't have this, you need a different knife, but also you need a savoir-faire. And if they don't have the appropriate training, French cook, French ambassador of the French gastronomy cannot be promoting organic food. So basically, in the coming years, what will be at stake will be to convert French chefs and cooks to sourcing organic products, but also knowing how to cook them, and also keeping their food costs at bay, because it's always what is it's the nerve of the debate. So we will be focusing in the coming years on dealing with education players, with chefs, with ambassadors, with those who are doing the sourcing of chef, because we have the conviction that it will be the next frontier, so that organic food will be in every aspect of the French day-to-day life. So this was the exclusive news, because we are at the beginning of this big chantier, and this is the first panoramic view I wanted to share with you. So I don't know if it was exhaustive for you, but I'm at your disposal for extra questions.
Thank you very, very much, Laure. Very interesting. I'm sure things that are very surprising also for our Dutch audience. The fact that school canteens, and every French child eats at school, have to serve 20% organic food. And the same is true, I think, for professional canteens. So this means it's an incredible amount of organic food that you need to supply all these canteens for all these children and workers. So that is really surprising. It was also very interesting to hear that the big debate between the fundamentalistic and the realistic biologicals was about the heated glass houses. You know that in Holland we have a lot of heated glass houses, so that is that is of course important for us.
I mentioned the example on purpose because I think it's quite hallucinating for you.
Exactly. So that was really interesting to hear. You didn't mention NatExpo.
Yes.
Maybe you can say a few words about NatExpo.
Yes, NatExpo is actually I am on the overview of French fairs. There are those 100% organic and those who are generalists, and where organic is part of the exposition. So in specialist fair, we have NatExpo. That's true. It's at the end of October. It's the big celebration of organic food, especially transformed food industry. It's organized among the others by the Sinabio. That's the professional entity I mentioned that is already in our governance. And this is where it's a kind of the bal des débutantes of the new brands, new products that are reaching the market in organic. And it's 3 days. It's really the big mess of the messia of the sector. So yeah. It's in Villepinte. It's getting bigger and bigger. It's 1 year on 2. It's in Lyon, another French town. And I think Alon can also give you a few elements about this fair because he is part of it.
Okay.
As well as we are.
That makes a bridge to our next speaker, and I'm sure we'll come back to things that you have said, Laure, in the discussion at the end. But to respect our time schedule, I propose that we move on to Alon Zeytoun, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the chain of shops Naturalia. He has been there since December 2017. And before he has worked as a consultant at International Consulting Energy, at Accenture, the Boston Consulting Group, He founded laboratories, so a long career with all kind of various elements, but he has been for the past years a very remarkable spokesman also of the retail in organic products in France. Alon, can I give you the floor?
Sure. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Laura. That was great.
Your camera is not on at the moment, I think.
It's done for me. It's not on for you.
Actually, I can see him. Maybe it's filtered.
Okay,
but...
then go
Yeah,
on. Go.
see you fine.
And you hear me?
Yes.
Also.
Okay, great. And I'm sure we'll come back to some things that Laura said, especially on greenhouses, because I'm part of the fundamentalist on this side. So yes, we were asked about, where does come the growth in France? It's true that it has been impressive, and especially over the past 10 years, about 2.5 to 3 times has been the market growth in the past 10 years. For Naturala, for example, we have grown over the past 10 years from 40 stores to 240 stores. We are now 500 million euros company. So yes, it has been growing very fast. From my point of view, and I may be wrong, but from my point of view, the first element that may explain this growth is the sociological background of France. We consider ourselves first, and Laure mentioned it, as a gastronomic country. We really do love food. It's not functional for us. Food is not only about getting the energy and the micro elements or whatever you need. It's about getting pleasure. So we love food, and we can pay for it. So there is a question of price. It's obvious, but we can pay for it. We have this emotion about the countryside. We all learn in primary school that, for example, we had Sully, which was the prime minister of Henri IV, and he said, "Labourage and pâturage sont les deux mamelles de la France," which is a sentence that every primary schoolers learn, which means that meat and harvest are the two main treasures, mainly of France. So we do have this connection with agriculture, but let's say not intensive one, really, with let's say the traditional one. We have this functional that we say that we understand that today we spent about, in France at least, 70% of our revenues in food. We used to spend more than 30%. So we also have this learning that we should spend more. We don't spend sufficiently on food. And finally, I think on the sociological elements, it's very trendy in France to be what we call bobo. Maybe in Holland, it's about being in the Jordan area or something like that. But it's far beyond. There is one area in Paris which is called Le Marais, which is really the center of what we might call being bobo. But actually, it expands far beyond that. It expands far beyond within Paris, far beyond in all the city centers of all the French countries, but it's also in the countryside. And this is what is surprising for me, actually, because also my Naturalia is very much city-centric, but actually 80% of the organic market and specialized one, so the fundamentalist one, is outside of the city centers. It's in the countryside, or let's say in the lands, the part of the countries that are less dense. So the people that are really, let's say, that are statutorily, that have a focus on consuming for the planet, for the health, that are really our core consumers, they are all over France, and it's really trendy to be this kind of person. Let's say from our age to till our children, and I know pretty much Laure, and we are all part of this tribe, and it's really a cool tribe. So it's really important because it's what makes the consumers afterwards. Laure, you agree with me? So there is this social background that is very important, and I know how much it can translate or not. I know we don't have the same, let's say, the same vision about food, about what does food represent in our both countries. We don't have the same past about agriculture, so it's kind of different countries, so it's difficult to transpose completely. Then how did the boom happen? Because it has been the same for, let's say, all the past, we have always been like that, but how did the boom happen? First, there is a lot of what Laure just said, and it's very important for me, and it's key. It's about government, and Laure was talking about a socialist government, and all the big push that has been made in organic has been made in France by socialist governments. That was uncompromising about pushing organic. So they created the Agence Bio, that has made a lot about communicating about organic is really about good for your health, good for the environment. There has been this promoting, unless this new government, but the economic incentives to harvest organic product was much better than other type of or more conventional products. So the economic incentives were there, the communication was there, communication from all parts, from the public bodies, from the government, from the media. So for everyone in France, it's quite clear, organic means good. And that's very clear. And there is no other label or kind of products that can claim this goodness. So it's very straight clear. There is no confusion because the government till now, because now it is changing, the government till now has not pushed any other label. So that's the main, for me, the main push from the government. And then there is a second part in our, let's say, structure of market, is that there is money. I was talking yesterday with Martin and analyst about the price. Okay, when Laure says that 1/2 French does not understand why he should pay more for organic products, what I hear is 1/2 French is ready to pay more. He understands why he should pay more, and he's ready to pay more. So half of the French understand why they should pay more and are ready to pay more. And that's very important because today the organic market is more interesting in terms of profit, both for distribution, for production. I don't know about people in the middle, so the people that transform the industry, but for production and for distribution, I can tell you. And it can be done because we price the products at a level that enables us to be profitable, that enables our producers to be profitable. And that makes the interest of a lot of people that want to be part of this game. And then at some point, if I look at the past 10 years, first there was, let's say Naturalia, we made organic really trendy in the cities. Biocop, which is our competitor more in the countryside, made it very trendy in the countryside to make it organic. Then we had this profitability that came. So the market is growing, the profitability is here, and then there is a lot of people that wants to be in. And that, let's say, that's also a very important part of why we had this very impressive growth, is because there has been a tremendous competition in the market, and it enabled us or pushed us to innovate. So, for example, here in Naturalia, 10 years ago, we were like, let's say in Paris, we had maybe like we had maybe 10 years ago, but let's say we have 40 stores, about 100 to 150 square meters in city centers, and it was good. We had no competition, so we had no incentive to improve what we do or anything. And then came a competitor, which is called Bio, which was called because it went bankrupt, but they came with 350 square meter stores, which were much nicer, with much more raw products like fruit and vegetables and what we call traditional products, so cheese and ham and things like that. And they challenged us. So we had to respond and to make much bigger and much nicer products, which we did. I talked about Biocop earlier, which is the leader in France. It came the same. So they had this nice stores in let's say outside of the cities, and then came another company which is called Comptoir de la Bio, with 10 to 50% less prices compared to them. They had to respond to that. So within our ecosystem of special, what we call ourselves specialized organic distribution, this competition was very good because it pushed us to be much better, to have much more also much higher density of stores. So we when I told that we came from 40 stores, we are 240 stores, because we need to do that to push for the competition. Is also about going to nearer to the customer. So we need to push for new stores, and everyone is doing the same. So we are adding about 200 new stores every year in France. So we have today about 3,000 organic stores in France, and we are adding altogether about 200 stores per year in France, and this is also fueling the growth. So competition is very good, and competition from conventional stores, so the Leclerc, the Auchan, the Carrefour, to name the biggest players, is also very good. They have increasing a lot the share of their shelves dedicated to organic products. They are putting a lot of marketing, a lot of promotion behind those products, and it's also very good. It's very good on several sides. First, they are also educating the consumers. Last year, or maybe in 2019, you were going in Paris, every panel, at the outside advertisement, were about organic products. Everyone, even Barilla or Nescafe, everyone is advertising about organic. So every advertising panel is about organic products. And if you go into the supermarket, the promotion is on the Chocapic, the kids cereals, organic ones, because they push for it, because they see that there is more margin in it. And this is very good because everyone is getting inside that organic is good. So they are building our customers for tomorrow, and they are also pushing us to be better. So, for example, we became naturally a B Corp. So I think we are the biggest company in France that is B Corp, because we have to differentiate us from what the organic products that are sold in those conventional stores. We are moving into digital also. So we are pushing a lot in digital, because we need to respond to these new players and these startups that are going into digital. We were talking earlier about greenhouses. All the specialized stores, so we are about half of the market, we decided that we cannot have heated greenhouses, not unheated, but we cannot have organic products that are heated in our stores, because it's a nonsense. It's the energy consumption in that is necessary to grow some products in heated greenhouses is much larger than the benefits you have to be organic. So from our side, it's a nonsense. So, and we are completely, let's say, fine with that. Conventional stores don't think the same, because it's our differentiation. They have they make choices that are not comprehensive, that does not make any sense. It's fine for us. They make a mistake, we don't, and we are making mistakes. We just don't make this one. So we are completely fine that we have different products and different vision of what is organic. So we have these two streams: conventional stores selling organic products, these specialized organic stores. Both are growing a lot, and this creates a tremendous competition that challenge us to be good and better every day. So this is what is really for me fueling the growth. And actually, the manufacturers are playing the game. So meaning, in France, for example, you will never find a brand in the two different channels. If you are either you sell to conventional stores, either you sell to specialized stores. So we have a very different. So really, we can thrive the specialized stores, because we offer something very different than what you can find in conventional stores. The day you find in my stores the same thing that you could find in a Monoprix, which is a conventional store, which is very much into cities, I'm dead. There is no. I don't offer anything more to the customers. So the manufacturers are playing the game, but they are also playing the game because it makes sense for them, because we are freeing the growth of the market as a whole. So from my point of view, what is making the growth in France? So first, I talked about it. The support of the French bodies, public bodies as a whole, and medias that are uncompromising on organic. And third, this competition, that is fueled really by the two separated channels, and separated channel is really key. So this is what is fueling the growth in the market. And I'm thinking that as long as we can offer more to our customers, if we are always increasing our level of competitiveness, we will be able to have this kind of growth. And it's ahead of us. Then Martin told me another question about what you could do to importing Dutch products in France. From my point of view, there is a point about that, is that much more. In France, we are, and I think every country is about the same. We are very, very nationalistic. I don't know if the word is right, but I think you understand what I mean. In the organic products, you really want to buy the products that are from your country. And if you can, within 150 kilometers from where you buy your products. So the more the time goes, the more we're restricting our purchases within France, and we go and pick outside of France what does not exist in France. So mainly it's about fruits and vegetables, but more in the southern part of Europe, when we don't have it yet in France, because we are more on the northern part of Europe. And then we could buy, I was thinking about, what we could buy. We could buy something that we don't master. And I'm thinking, for example, about a part of, it's an example, it's not restricted to that, but vegetarian substitute to proteins, which is a large part of what we sell. We have a large part that comes from Germany, because they are ahead of us in this part. And it seems to me that Dutch is also working a lot on how you can substitute animal proteins through vegetable proteins. And I would see I would see a potential about having like a cluster, I think, which is being built in Netherlands. Something about very an expertise in vegetarian substitutes to animal proteins that we could buy, because you have products that we don't have, and on which we lack expertise. And finally, and then I will be open to answer 2 questions. I think it's we really need to, from my point of view, to, let's say, to bond. I'm happy that I have the opportunity to talk with you today, but I really think that we need the organic sector in each country, in each urban country, needs to be more united across the different countries, to push more, to have more power at the European level, which is the level at which today's laws are being written. And we are too much, for me, let's say, across Europe, not federating, and we're not pushing for the right legislation that could help us to grow more, because it's very important. Well, this is what I have. I think I'm right on time.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you for your very inspiring and clear words. A very interesting story about competition in the markets that is stimulating innovation. And you made it very clear, I think. It was actually very fascinating to see how you describe the competition also within the biological sector, with various supermarket chains that, actually have quite tough competition, because if I understand well, some went bankrupt. Also, the different vision of what is organic with the major retail companies like Carrefour and others, which you described quite well. You said, and I'm surprised, I'm now going to check, of course, myself in the various shops, if you're right. You said what we sell in Naturalia should be different from what a major retail chain sells in their shops, because if not, we don't distinguish ourselves from each other. Well, that is a very challenging thing you say there. So I'm ready after this webinar to go shopping. You said manufacturers play the game. They direct themselves to the one or the other. And as regards imports, you said it's about products that we do not have ourselves, or that we do not produce ourselves, or that we do not produce at that point of time ourselves. and you made a very specific example of the meat replacers of the proteins, that of the various, let's say, vegetarian hamburgers, etc., that can replace meat. So thank you very, very much. I don't know, we are actually running now more or less out of time, so I should move to the next one. But if there's an urgent question, we can take that. So if somebody wants to ask something, there's a possibility here. We will have a final discussion at the end, of course, so we'll have then the full picture of the various points of view.
I have one question to Alon.
Yes, please present yourself, say who you are.
I'm Bart from Choquet. We're a Dutch chocolate brand, no sugar, no sweeteners chocolate brand, of course organic. We are making some first steps on the French market, but what I'm struggling to understand is, I understand your point about the nationalistic part, to buy locally in France, but if you would supply French retail chains or stores, do you also work directly with brands or distributors from other countries, or is there always then a local French distributor or wholesaler in between?
No. So we work directly with most of our providers. We work directly.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
So that's good news. That's good news. You can work together directly. That's not a problem. Is there another question at this point of time? If that's not the case, now we will move on to the next speaker. The next speaker was Clémentine Quillet from Carrefour Bio. So thank you very much, Clémentine, for being with us. You work with the Direction Marché Bio of Carrefour. You are project manager there since 2019. You have actually done the graduate executive program that made you work in very separate parts of the world also. You worked in Taiwan, but you had also different experiences in France, also with startups and e-commerce. So, Clémentine, the floor is yours. I cannot hear you yet. I think maybe your micro. Maybe it's your earplugs that are not connected. If not, we can also do Loïc first and then come back to you. I don't know, maybe that is... Sometimes it works to take off your earplugs and to take it out. I don't know. Okay. If not, I propose that we first move to Loïc. That gives you time, Clémentine, to look at your computer. Loïc Danel, who is from Biotopia. He's actually the managing director at Biotopia Insight. And he has been there since the beginning of this year. He worked for 12 years with Nielsen. And his mission is actually to develop a panel console, offer and position Biotopia Insights as a challenger to Nielsen, Kantar, and IRI in the organic segments. So, Loïc, the floor is yours.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, good news. First of all, Thank you, Martin, and thank you, Alan, and thank you, Laure, for your previous speeches. So I'm going to share my screen so that maybe I will be helped by a small presentation. And because I will talk about data, it will be more helpful for you to see the data on the screen. That's on my face, so just wait. Okay. And can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
good. Yeah. So basically, I will talk about data, about the growth of organic food in organic stores here in France. But first of all, I'll just in 2 minutes share you what we do at Biotopia. So we have basically two different activities. The first one is about communication with a website called Bio à la Une, which has 10 years and more than 5,100 followers per month. So that's the first website, news website in France. The second thing we have is prices notation. We give the ability to brands who want to be awarded by consumers to put that specific stickers on their products. And the second part of our activities is about data, so about understanding consumer behaviors, the first one, and also with a database called Catalog, which is helping retailers and producers to communicate and to communicate their product specificities. About panel and about our panel on our consumer panel. The methodology is very, very simple. I don't know if you know the consumer panel of Kantar, but it's quite the same. The thing is that we have 300 people scanning all the products that they buy on organic stores, but also on the organic food that they buy on general store like hypermarket, supermarket, Auchan, Carrefour, Leclerc, etc., etc. I would say that the main strengths that we have is that we have a very, very, very good qualified product index, because I think that we have the best product index in France on organic food, which exists for more than 5 years, and which we continually improve. So what we can say about consumer behavior in organic stores is that it's very complex to understand, to apprehend, for two reasons. The first thing is that in organic stores, you have a very specialized offer. And as Alan said just before my speech, you don't have the same offer in a general store and in a specialist organic store. So that you cannot compare price, you cannot compare the offer, the products. So it's a completely different world when you enter a store, an organic store. Maybe you can be lost at the beginning because the way products are organized are completely different. And I would say also that you don't have 80-20, you know, the very famous 80-20 on mass marketing that we had, I would say, 30 years ago. But in organic stores, you have a lot of different proposition of different offers. Let me take an example on oil, for instance. You have, if you go to Auchan, Leclerc, or a general store, you will have 80% of oils on tournesol of I don't know how to say tournesol in English, but you understand, and olive oil. In organic store, you will have maybe 50% on olive oil, but you have very, very different kind of oil, like other seeds, oils, etc., etc. So it's completely different. The second thing is that the way people are, the consumer behavior are not led by, I would say, by revenue, by how many people you are in the family, by your region, but more by how educated you are. Do you have an organic store close to your home? So it's very more difficult to apprehend and to understand why people are EV consumer or not. I would say that the difference that you can do between to understand the way people behave in organic stores is more about the engagement that they have about organic food. And as Alan say, and Laure also, the organic food, I would say, history in France is quite old and is more than 30 years. So you have people that who are engaged in organic food for a long time, but you have also, I would say, opportunists, people that are newcomers to organic food and who come to organic stores because they want to pick something very specific. You must understand also that organic stores is a place in France when you can find nutrients products. You have to understand that vegan products, gluten-free products at the beginning of the trend, you can find it only in our organic stores. So there's a lot of very specific ingredients, very specific food that you can find only in organic stores. And I think that this is the reason why right now organic stores are more seen like high quality experts food, I would say, selectioners, stores that can choose good food for you, stores that can choose very high quality food and products for you. So more than organic, I would say that it's about high quality and expertise about food. We have like personae. I'm pretty sure. Sorry, it's not translated in English, but we at Biotopia we work at understanding and incarning, I would say, the consumer. So you have, for instance, you have Emma, very healthy, trendy on the way she behaves. She lives in Paris, etc. She doesn't have kids, and she goes to organic stores because she wants to buy tofu and she wants to buy very specific ingredients. You have, like, for instance, Veronique. She's not, she doesn't earn a lot of money, but she's very engaged in organic food because of personal behaviors, and she likes to have a lot of people at home. You have Aude, who is obsessed by nutrition and personal development. She's an osteopath, and she lives in Brittany. She's vegan. Also, you have a lot of different, I would say, personae helping us to explain why it's very difficult to understand the organic consumer. So, given that, and back to the, I would say, back to the data, we can say that the turnover of organic stores from 2018 to 2020 moved from 3,760 700 millions, 4 billions, and 500 million. So you can say that we have growth about 20% 2 years, which is impressive. And at the same time,
Loic,
yes.
the volume is a little bit getting worse, so speak clearly in the microphone, please. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want that I put my, maybe I can put this? Okay. I'll try with.
It was quite okay at the beginning, so you were very clear, and now with the four girls, we lost you a little bit.
Okay. Maybe it's better like that.
Okay.
I would say, and that what you have to understand is also that I would say 5 years ago or 6 years ago, general store, hypermarkets like Auchan, Carrefour, etc., put a lot of organic products in their stores. So the growth of organic food in France was more held by general stores. But this year, with COVID crisis, people more goes to organic stores to buy organic food. And then the growth of organic food at general store was a little bit smaller than previous years. And what is very important to understand is that the average basket in average store is about 42 euros, which is quite important. And people go 27 times a year in organic stores. So it's a lot of time in a year. And what we have seen last year is that the average spend per trip, so the average basket, went from 30 euros, as you can see around here, to about 40 euros, with a top at the top level, I would say, of in April 2020, with a basket as about 53 euros, and it was because of COVID crisis. What we can say about that, and why organic stores, I would say, wins the war against general store, for me, it's 3 reasons. The first reason is that they are small and local stores. So they are convenient stores, and people get there because they were more confident in going to small stores than huge store during the crisis. The second thing is because we had a lot of out of stock on flour, on pastas, on milk in general store in March and April 2020, and this situation didn't happen in organic stores. So people go to organic store just because they wanted to have flour and they wanted to have milk or pasta. Okay, and the third reason, I think that Alan give also that explanation a little bit earlier, but French people, they like to eat, okay, and they like to spend their money on food and good food, and because they couldn't travel, because they couldn't go to restaurants, I think that it was a particular good, I would say, environment for organic store last year, because of people wanted to spend their money in good food and in organic products. So now, when we look at how organized or how divided are the products, you can say that food is more than 80% of the turnover. You have 5% on hygiene and beauty products. Health and care products are about 4%, and home care products about 3%. when you go to food, only on food, you can see that we have three main departments. And about 25% on sweet groceries like biscuits, like chocolate, like all the things that you can imagine on sweet grocery. Fruit and vegetable is about 24%, and it was stable versus last year. Salted grocery like pasta, flour, oil, as you can imagine, was growing a lot versus last year because of all the people that was stocking products at home during crisis. And so you have 12% on dairy. Fresh products are about 6%. Drinks about 6% also, and fresh meats about 5.5%. The last one is about I can't remember, but it's about 3 and 4%. What is interesting also is that people don't buy organic food, the same category of organic food when they are on organic stores or when they are in general store. As you can say, fruit and vegetable are very much important and very more important in organic stores and in general store. At the contrary, people buy more dairy products, obviously organic dairy products in general store than in organic store, which led us to say that organic store and general store are not against each other, but are more, I would say, more. I would say I cannot find the word in English, but are not. They compete. They complete each other and not compete each other.
Complementary.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Martin. Complementary. The last thing I would like to talk about is store and chain. As you can say, Biocoop is leading the way with more than 1/3 of the market share, 36% of market share. The second was in Naturalia, but as you can say, we have independents, so stores that are not linked to a chain, and you have a lot of stores like that in France. It accounts about 9% of the total turnaround, so it's a lot of money. And I'm not sure that Alain or Laure talked about it, but you have some stores that are linked to convenient food stores like Naturalia is a branch of Casino. Bio C'est Bon and Sobio, they belongs to Carrefour. Intermarché has money in Les Comptoirs de la Bio. But what you can say also is that 80% and about 75% of French organic business is held by independents. So it's I would say it's a business that is very fragmented and not held by big companies. As Alan said, also the number of stores grew very fast. You can say that Biocoop is building more than 50 stores a year. I think that they have inaugurated their 700th store 1 month ago. Naturalia also is nowadays more than 200 stores. They build a lot of stores and they go in many different cities right now. You don't have a small city in France without a Biocoop, without an organic store. Okay, maybe this one I will skip, but you can have the presentation afterwards, so don't worry about that. You will have it. And the final thing I would like to talk about it is about what people and the French organic consumer want and why they go to organic stores. As I said, and as you can notice, the first thing why they go to organic store is about quality products. So they go because the products are very high quality. Second thing is about the product choice. You must understand this item like you choose products for me, and you have organic stores the ability to choose good product with very high standards ingredients. And as you can see also, environment, ecology is not at the top of the items that people say why they go to organic stores. But I would say, on the other hand, we also ask people why they don't buy more and why they go also to general stores. They say that because of the price and because it's expensive, they cannot afford to buy all the products they need in organic stores. Even if they would like to buy more, it's very expensive, and they know that it's expensive. So they are okay to buy food and to buy some stuff in organic stores, but they also know that they cannot afford to buy all the things that they wanted to have in organic stores. And it's not about choice. It's not about the fact that there are more SKUs in general store. It's about money. So that's it. And I just had one more thing about loose products. You know, we call it vrac in France. So one of the specificity of organic stores is that 10% of their business is made by loose products. So people pick themselves the amount of products that they wanted in bags that they have brought with them. I think also that it's a way to engage people with environment, and but also it's a way to help people to manage their portfolio and their business, their money. As a conclusion, I would say that organic stores are in the middle, I would say, of a new way to develop and to grow. They have to make innovations. They have a digital revolution that they have to engage, and it will be maybe the topic of next year for Naturalia, for Biocoop, and for all other organic stores. But we have very highly and very good growth basis here in France, and we can be proud of it.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much, Loïc. I think you also have a fantastic data set in France. Such an analysis of everything. I haven't seen that before, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. So really, really interesting, and it gives an incredible insight in how consumers behave and what they do. It's based on French data, I guess. Is that correct?
Yes, only on French data.
And are you planning any activities outside France? Do you have ambition to grow elsewhere, or what?
Yes. Our plan, for instance, is to consolidate in France first, and then we are looking to expand and to go to other countries. I'm not sure that Netherlands is the first country where we are going to go, but maybe more Germany, and then maybe Belgium and Netherlands in the second time.
Great. Well, maybe the audience doesn't know, but Loïc is actually Belgian. So yes. I will be able to build a bridge between France and Netherlands.
Exactly.
Are there questions at this point of time? Feel free to take the floor.
I would have one question actually.
Yes,
Hello.
please tell who you are, from which organization.
I'm Arno Scherpenhuizen from Green Organics in Holland.
Okay.
We are one of the suppliers in fruit and vegetables, mainly in vegetables to the French market. Some of the companies involved are daily customers at ours. We noticed also that in particular regarding the waste politics in France, that the major players are very interested to avoid extra packaging, like you mentioned, to avoid plastics. How do you see this development into the coming years, let's say into the coming 5 years for the major French actors on the market? Is this more and more a marketing issue that will be unrolled over the French market?
I have many answers to your question. I would say that generally speaking, in French, you are right to say that plastic and waste, I would say problematics and topics, is at the top level of people's concern. But I'm not sure that organic stores have you know, they have to quality remains the first things. So at one time, sometimes you have to put plastic, okay, and you have to have plastic to packaging because it's the only way to keep quality, especially on vegetables and on fruits. But consumer want to have less plastic, so. I think that Clémentine also and Carrefour, they try to avoid to put plastic on their packaging, to replace it with paper.
Exactly.
But one of my clients is Lazzaretti. I don't know if you know Lazzaretti. They produced organic pastas in the south of France, and they say that the quality of their pasta needs plastic plastic-based packaging. So they tried to replace it with paper. They tried to replace it with different things, but it didn't have the good quality. And in terms of carbon footprint, it was more the footprint was more important with paper than with plastic. So they decided to continue with plastic and to educate the consumer, to explain why they keep plastic. So I would say that there is no good solution or there is no good answer. The thing is, it's something. Sometimes things are more complicated than it can appear. So you have to explain to consumer, you have to explain people, but if you can eradicate plastic, if you can eradicate packaging, it will be a good advantage if the quality remains very good.
Thank you very much for the explanation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Before we move to Clémentine, is there a last question for Loïc at this point of time? Okay, if it's not the case, I think we will move to Clémentine. Clémentine, the floor is yours.
Yeah, normally it should work.
Yes.
Yeah, you can hear me? Okay, very well. I'm really sorry for previous moment. I was struggling with my computer.
That's
okay.
the folklore of webinars, you know? I mean,
yes.
This should happen, and, you know, later on, we will say, okay, so please, Clémentine, the floor is yours.
Okay, so I think I have 20 minutes, so I try to make it in the time. I will share my screen. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, great. Just a few words to introduce myself, since I'm just the picker of the team, because Benoit Souris was not available today. He's a director of the organic market in Carrefour. So we are a small team and cross-functional. So we work with all the departments of the company, and we are like a lobbyist, an internal lobbyist within the company to promote organic and make sure things are moving forward. So in the team, you have my colleague Swani, who's in charge of all the organic projects in France specifically. She's actually visiting a farm, so she could not be here today as well. And she's also leading all the work on the partnerships with the organic farmers, what we call les filières. I will develop it later. And as for me, I coordinate organic among the group, so with the other countries. So we try to share good practices with the countries of Europe, so Belgium, Spain, Italy, Poland, and Romania. And the rest of the time, I work as a project manager on the specialist market, so for Sobio and Bio C'est Bon. So I will go fast over the figures, since Laure and Alan and Loic already talked about it, and tried to get quickly to Carrefour. But just a few ones. So we benefited from a sharp increase of the penetration and the frequency of organic purchases, as we saw previously. This is very simple. I'm sorry, it's really gross, I would say. It's a division of our customers made by Kantar. It's in 2019, so it's a bit old, but I think it's still working. But just to say that Carrefour mainly addresses the two first sections of customers who are switchers. Like, there are no specific convictions, but from time to time they buy organic products in our stores, and generally in hypermarkets, supermarket, general retail, and a big amount of people who think organic is one way to eat better, but are not as convinced as the third one, who view organic as a real philosophy of life. And just one fact which is quite interesting is one of the reasons as well for French consumers to increase the consumption of organic products is that products have become more and more available in classic retail, and I think Carrefour has played its role in the story. And quickly, the figures in France. So just a recall of the quick growth of organic sector, and the quick growth especially of the general retail. So you see that below GMS, what we call GMS. So Carrefour, Leclerc, and Auchan have developed fast, especially with 5 past years. Although specialists are still an important channel, and we talked about Biocoop with Naturalia, and Carrefour tries also to develop on this market. I will talk about it later. I move fast on that one. So as I said, specialists are still moving fast, with a lot of stores open every year. So Biocoop by far the first one, with more than 700. So as Mr. Zetoun said, the competition is quite fierce on the market, with customers that tend to switch from general retail to specialists. You don't only have militant people that only go to specialists, so which is quite tricky for, I think, all retailers, whether they be general or specialized. Another thing we mentioned previously is that all classic retailers attempted to have their own brand of dedicated stores. So Auchan, Leclerc, Casino, Intermarché. So which is interesting in that on this slide, I didn't put Carrefour because I will develop it, but on this side, the only two brands that are successful are Les Comptoirs and Naturalia, who are the only ones that are really specific, specialized, specialists, and where all the others, Auchan Bio, Le Marché Bio Leclerc, Casino Bio, and we did as well with Carrefour Bio stores, are all mixing the codes, I would say, of classic retail, because they keep the names, they keep the code of general retail, and the offer is quite poor compared to specialists, and they are mixing the brands. As Mr. Zaytoun said previously, the French customer are really, really sensible to it. And so all these examples have led to a stop. So all these stores you see here, Auchan Bio, Le Marché Bio, Casino Bio, have almost all stopped their expansion. So just a quick recall of the market. So now, how has Carrefour developed on this market, and what is our history? So as I said, I've worked for Carrefour for 6 years, so I'm really recent compared to the history of organic activities in Carrefour. Since the first product, the La Boule Bio, it's a bread, was sold in the 90s. And then Carrefour has gradually expanded its activities, first by launching a brand of products, a private label brand, Carrefour Bio. Then quite soon with the first organic partnership with farmers. I cannot tell you which product it was actually, but it was in the 90s. And in comparison, just so you know, in Carrefour, we have also what we call filière qualité Carrefour, which are not organic. It was the most an attempt of Carrefour to work and to improve the quality of the products, because they felt the customers had this need, but it was not at this time organic. So 6 years later, they launched the first organic partnership. And then other private label like Tex with clothing, Nectar of Nature in beauty products. Then we tried, like the others, to open our first specialized store, so Carrefour Bio. So we would have 50% of the assortment with the private label Carrefour Bio, the previous one, and the rest of it would be small national brands. So it was a bit confusing for customers who were either used to general retail, either used to go into specialists. And at this time, I think there were less switches and mixes between the two worlds. Then it went faster, because in 2016, we bought Greenwiz, which is a great actor of organic online, of organic distribution online. And recently, Greenwiz also bought two other online companies, Planeta Huerto in Spain and another one in Italy. And 3 years later, Alexandre Bompard arrived as CEO of Carrefour and launched Act for Food program. So to foster and really move forward and more quickly onto the field of a better consumption. And of course, organic was a great pillar of the strategy. So in 2019, we bought Sobio. So at the time, it was quite small, created in the southwest near Bordeaux, with only 10 stores. As I speak, we have now 38 stores, so we intend to expand it quickly. And the last one, Carrefour took the decision to put all the baby private label into organic, so now it's Baby Bio only. So that was a quick reminder of the development of organic into Carrefour. So as you have probably got the point, we try to address and to target all customers, through different channels, with the historic one, of course, which represents the biggest amount of organic sales of Carrefour, with the hypermarkets, supermarkets, and convenience stores, and online activities that are linked to the store with a drive or with home delivery. And which is more recent is this specialized sector with online with Greenwiz, and with the stores thanks to SoBio. And lately we bought Bio C'est Bon. You have read perhaps, or I think Loïc talked about it, finishing last year. Carrefour Bio store is still going on in some countries of the group, so in Belgium, in Spain, and in Poland. But in France, we took the decision to stop the brand for the reasons we mentioned, and to convert the stores under the banner Bio C'est Bon. So we will have in France only 2 brands of specialized stores, SoBio and Bio C'est Bon. So far so good? You hear me clearly? Yeah. Okay. As the mass retail is regarded, Carrefour is the leader on organic market, as market share is regarded. And it's really important, and the competition is quite fierce, and all the general retailers and the discounters, Lidl, Aldi, all try to develop and work really well to expand the assortment, to enhance the visibility of organic products in the stores, and also, and obviously, communicate a lot about it. So the competition is fierce, whether it is the assortment, whether it is the communication and the operations of retailers do in the press in the stores. What we do in the team and how we structure the work within the company, we work on each of these levels. So the first one is monitored by my colleague, is building and identifying farmers to set up partnerships on specific products. Second one, obviously, is to expand the assortment and the range of products we offer to our customers, so we have the best choice to offer them. Third one is how we improve the visibility of the organic products in the store. To be honest, today you have an excess, you have more area dedicated to organic products than they represent in the turnover, in the total sales of the stores. So it's a bit, there's a bit of a discrepancy, but because we really put the emphasis on it, and I think it's a fact that concerns all general retailers. We expand specialized networks, so SoBio and Bio C'est Bon, and we work on the back office jobs, obviously, so logistics. We intend to train and to improve the level of advice of our teams, especially in generics, in hypermarkets, supermarkets, and convenience, because organic was not really our core job in Carrefour. And the last one is communication. So as the assortment is regarded, just the fact is that in France, the growth was really triggered by the growth of the assortment. And in Carrefour, we created a lot of new references, whether you talk about private labels, so under the banner Carrefour Bio, whether it was under national brands, small national brands, or also big national brands that went onto this market and developed what we call the Me Too. Like today, you can find Chocat Peak, which are cereals for kids, conventional and organic. So the assortment has developed a lot. What we try to do now is to work on the knowledge and to use the knowledge of our specialized activities, so bio, green wiz, but also by serving all our competitors to improve the assortment and to try to reach the level of specialized brands. So we identify the missing units of need, and we try to develop private label products, or when we cannot or we need to move fast, we buy national brands. And we have the same work and methodology in all of our countries, so Belgium, Spain, Italy. Also, to go further on the assortment, it's not only a number of products, but as well the quality, obviously, of our products and the commitments we take towards our customers. So we try to go a step forward. So the first one, no GMO, of course, it's within the specifications of organic label, but for soy and corn, we go further, and we have set the maximum of to 0.1% for these products. We don't use heated greenhouses. For Carrefour Bio products, we have reached 80% origin France, and for the fresh products, so fruits, vegetables, meat, and milk, cow milk, and eggs, it's 100% under the bannier Carrefour Bio, the one that we monitor. We have the decision on the specifications, and we can work with the suppliers to reach and to comply with these specifications and this level of demand. We decided that this brand Carrefour Bio would focus on seasonal assortment, so we communicated on, for example, the end of tomatoes during winter and that kind of thing. Also, and I think it's a big element of the organic growth in France, as Mr. Zetoun said, is the price of the product. So in general retail, the price of organic products is lower than in the specialist network. And with our Carrefour Bio brand, we tend to comply and to be reasonably competitive, so that all our customers can buy organic products. And the last one is nutritional transparency, and we just announced in the press that we would as well work with the EcoScore, with the environmental traceability. Loic mentioned it, so the work on the packaging, obviously. So it's a level that is worked within Carrefour in a general way, so especially about fruits and vegetables. But the first and the priority was put on the brand Carrefour Bio and on the organic products, because it was consistent with the organic philosophy, and because our customers are really demanding on this topic. So we worked a lot these 2 past years on reducing the plastic, and it's a lot of work. I know there is one person dedicated to it in fruits and vegetables, to work with the suppliers on the production structures to find new solutions and try to comply with the constraints, like Monsieur Danel said, he was quoting, I think, pasta, with the quality of the products. And we're still working on it, because there are a lot of products that need to be addressed. So more to come in next year. I talked about the filière, the fields, the partnerships. So Carrefour has developed this way of working with the agricultural farmers. So the goal is to make to accompany them into conversion to organic culture. So we sign a 3 to 5 year contract with them with targeted volumes with the price or financial conditions ensuring fair remuneration, and with a contract that take into account all the stakeholders, because usually we firm the contract with cooperatives, not the farmers themselves, because they are quite numerous. We also bring to them some financing support, so either through our foundation, but only for association, either with our partner Mimosa, which is a funding platform, either with an internal financing tool, which is called BioDev by Finifac. And an example of it was a milk launched in 3 years ago with 66 producers, and the contract, so there were more actors than Carrefour involved, like WWF, implied that there was a plus 50 euros per 1,000 liters to convert during 2 years, and then Carrefour would sign a contract to buy to these farmers for a 3-year period afterwards, so after the conversion. And the funding amounted to 10 million of milk liters. So how many farmers are we talking about? 2,600, and we keep looking for more partnerships and more farmers to accompany. So among them, 182 are still converting into organic, so they are not organic producers at this time. And we have developed from these partnerships 112 products, either under the banner Carrefour Bio, either under national brands, and sometimes also still in conversion. So here you see all the products. So last year we launched the pasta, and this year we will launch fruits puree, and other references of milk and juices. So that was it for the assortment. Now how we enhance the organic products in our stores. So we worked with all the formats, so hypermarkets, markets, and convenience stores, to design the best way to sell the organic products. So we have developed bio departments in over 200 stores, and when we can, we put dedicated area, like you can see on the picture, when we have area, when the customers of this store have an appetite for organic, and here we need the data, obviously, of all the actors that study the customers' envy for organic consumption. And in the rest of the stores, we try to work on the best practices, how to present on the merchandising, how to present organic products, how to explain it to customers, how to make animations in the stores, etc. So here is market, so smaller spaces, but a bigger amount of stores are concerned, because we have 1,000 market stores, so we can do more shop-in-shop organic areas, and we can even work and design organic areas in convenience stores. Obviously, when again there is a compatibility of the area, the customers' range, and organic demand. So either on a small format with the corners, either with a real shop-in-shop like this in bigger stores. So this one is quite recent, and it only appears in 15 stores, I think, in convenience stores. We try to, as I say, to develop the training of the staff in store, and as well to animating and promoting organic products in the stores to increase the awareness of the customers, and encouraging new customers to discover what is organic, to taste the products, and to get more data in our store. So here you can see animations of le Printemps de la Bio, which is a national event launched by Agence Bio. So we try to be a part of it in our stores in Carrefour. So I will, and it will be the end of my presentation. Sorry, I am a bit long. I will finish with our specialist activity. So Sobio, so as I said, we bought it in 2019. It's a format more in the countryside, in a peri-urban or rural area. They are quite big stores, so from 500 to 800 square meters. We have about and until 10,000 references. Sometimes we have smaller stores, so obviously we don't have all the assortment. So Sobio is really separated and distinguished for Carrefour. It's really small compared to the rest of organic activities in Carrefour. So it's like a PME, what we call a PME in France. It's located in Bordeaux. All the teams are in Bordeaux. And so far we have 38 stores, and we aim to create more stores every year and to develop fast. We developed as well the franchise as a way to make our expansion and to compete with the biggest one, Biocoop, Naturalia, Les Comptoirs, perhaps. So we try to reach, to move fast. And Bio C'est Bon. So Bio C'est Bon, we bought the company by the end of last year. It went into bankrupt. So we bought only a part of the stores, 105 stores. Originally, there were 120 stores. So it's quite different from Sobio because they are smaller stores. They are located downtown, so in cities. It exists since 2005. And now it's operated by Sobio teams. So we gathered the expertise on products and the organic markets, but we keep the brands separated and try to offer something different in our two brands, Sobio for the biggest stores in peri-urban areas, and Bio C'est Bon for the convenience organic stores in the cities and urban areas. And obviously the range of products is lower. And that's it for the organic activities in Carrefour. So feel free to ask any questions. I may not have all the answers because I've been working for the organic team for 2 years now. So it's really short compared to the more than 20 years of experience of Benoit in the organic sector, but I will make my best to answer all of it, and otherwise I will share your questions with the rest of the team, obviously.
Thank you very much, Florentine, and Clementine. Sorry.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Clementine, and this was again a wealth of information. I propose that you put your questions on the chat because we are running out of time. And I actually will give the floor to Michael to tell us a little bit some concluding words. But if you put your questions to Clementine on the chat, I'm sure we will be able to give you the answers after the workshop so that you get the answers to your questions. But unfortunately, we are running out of time because at 5 we are supposed to close. So, Michael, are you there? Apparently, he's not. Well, that makes our time issue somewhat more easy. I must say. I'm sure that Michael was going to tell you that we will be organizing a mission to France around Nat Expo together with BioNext So there will be the opportunity to meet some people in France and have some visits, etc. So we're going to work on that in a team, well, that's actually BioNext who's in the lead. So I will not say much more about that. I must say I have enjoyed a lot all the presentations. I really would like to thank the speakers for their impressive stories. It was really very informative. I think there was in every speech a lot of interesting things, varying from the data that Louis gave us, the strategy of Laure, and of course the two examples of Naturalia and Carrefour that are different brands and different strategies and complementary, like we heard. So that was very interesting. I think we also have to thank the organizers of today. First of all, Laure Verdot, who made this possible. We should not forget that actually this whole initiative would not have been there if Laure Verdot would not have been very enthusiastic in accepting our idea of having this workshop. So thank you very much to Laure, but also to Sarah Ledouarin, who is actually her collaborator, and Sarah, together with Nathalie Oudenhoven of BioNext, and also of Annelies Dijkema of our team at the Dutch Embassy in Paris, organized this in practical terms. So thank you very much to them. I would like to thank the audience as well, because you have been patient, you have listened for 2 hours. I'm not sure, I give it a last try if Michael is in the call now, but I'm not sure. I don't think so. He was in the field with farmers and trying all kind of grasses, so probably he's still around in the field. So thank you very much. We have recorded this, so you are able to listen to it again or to share this with colleagues. I think there's, of course, Nut Expo to come. That's the biggest organic fair in France. So I'm hoping to meet many of you there. It would be wonderful to really be with you in Paris, so don't hesitate. And for now, thank you very much and have a nice evening. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.